but it was still very obvious that if I were to work at Mesh, I'd be working with uh, a group of hundreds of builders who all wanted to create something new and create like better tools and applications and protocols that would make people's lives easier. And that was what was interesting for me. And also, this is another like when I think about marketers, their marketing is like a catch-all, especially in crypto, I think, because you have a lot of people hiring for marketing who are not haven't necessarily worked with marketing teams before, like don't necessarily understand how to structure a marketing team, how to budget for marketing, how to prioritize, like where to put your time and resources and efforts based on what your goals are as a company. But I'm not a performance marketer. I'm not a digital marketer. I am a brand marketer. I'm focused on partnerships and I'm focused on uh, uh, connecting with the community. So for me, the fact that I get to work with now hundreds of founders to try to problem solve for them and recognize that, like, I actually don't know anything about what I know a little bit about, like how you should approach your performance marketing strategy, but what I can tell you is that I'll put you in touch with someone who will be a lot better than I will be at helping you, and helping launch, your product. But I love creating those or having those conversations. And then I think about, okay, Mesh has this network. We have 190 positions or 170 positions and a wide token portfolio as well. Um, what are the connection points and the partnerships across our portfolio? Like the most powerful thing at Mesh is the Mesh network. So when I actually now, like my job as a marketer, is to to help build that network, and like the partnerships are internal. So that's what attracted me to working there, and why I still love to be there. Like especially for Web 2 marketers coming into Web 3, like that is what's so valuable. Like bring your skepticism, bring the questioning, bring the like, hold on a second, guys. Like this is actually the way the world works. And like it's worked this way for thousands of years. Like humans are humans. We cannot deny our nature. And
Hmm.
God knows I'm not an expert at all on that, but I do think what's core to marketing is just understanding what makes people tick and what's going to drive their emotional connection, their adoption, whatever it might be. But at DevCon, I was like in these situations that I was so kind of like, this isn't me. Like I'm not this total
Identity
idealist.
crisis.
Yeah, but I loved it because there was just this warmth and openness and willingness to listen, um to everyone who had something to say and have collaborative conversations. And I think that's frankly because we're still early, you know?
Yeah,
Like
no, I
we're
mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's the nature of the technology leads to a democratization of decision making, of identity, and all of that, which I think has created the culture of openness. But just like any movement, without the maximalists, this didn't go anywhere. So yes, there are still lots of people that subscribe to that, and uh, it depends on what you're fighting for, right? Are you fighting for decentralization of everything, or are you fighting for mass adoption of the technology? Because those two don't always go together, right? There's got to be trade-offs on either side, and that's the area where I'm focused. That is my brand, right? Is I want to find that in between, because I do believe in a lot of those concepts, but I also am a pragmatist,
Yeah,
and I understand that not everybody does.
right.
Not everybody wants to download a digital wallet and have autonomy and do all this stuff. So a lot of people just prefer for someone else to handle it, and that's
Yeah, it
okay,
doesn't make their life easier. They're not going to spend an
right?
hour and a half figuring out how to do this because they need to spend an hour and a half watching the Great British Baking Show, which is totally okay.
Damn
Like
right.
people can prioritize however they want to prioritize. This season wasn't great. Anyway, that's my hot take. Um, no, I think that I'm with you 100%. Like, I I I want to create better institutions. Like, that is why I'm here. I want to have it be easier for me to send money to, even between the UK and the US, right? Like, I just moved to the UK, and you know how many bank accounts I had to go through to get money to the friend whose apartment I'm renting? It was like 4, and that's insane. It would have been like that if we
Boom.
had
And it
just
could have been
used MetaMask.
USDC. Yeah.
Right, which is crazy. I actually should have told her. I should have been like, "Hey, do we really need to use Revolut? Like, let's use something else." So we're all there for that, but that doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, effectiveness doesn't need to be full decentralization. Yeah, there is absolutely a happy medium, and at the end of the day, it's going to be all of us, like the maxis, the non maxis, the early adopters, and also the people who, like, to your point, don't care at all, who are going to drive how this ends up rolling out.
Because guess what? Those are the
Yeah,
people that drive
I know.
money.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, that's
exactly.
they're gonna be the people that go to dot swoosh. They're gonna be the
Yeah,
people that buy Porsche NFTs. They're
yeah,
gonna be the people that are buying these various NFTs, digital collectibles, passport stamps from Starbucks, right?
yeah,
Like they may not care to ever trade one of those things,
totally.
but I think one of the keys, and I stole this from Roham over at Flow,
Mm,
is to abstract away the technology, but give the people the ability to pull back the layers if they want.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I wish I didn't agree because it would be more interesting. I think I don't even think they're like, I'd be curious to see what happens with the Starbucks thing. I mean, Polygon is doing an incredible job. So is Nike, so are all of these big brands. I mean, they have the budget, they have the resources. Um, I'd be curious to see in 2 years if the consumer is even like how much they're actively going out and purchasing versus it just kind of comes to them. People are lazy. It comes to them, and yes, I agree. Like, they're able to dig deeper should they choose to. And what percentage of people will actually choose to? Who knows? But they should have the option to and the ability to. Um, and I think that's what's so interesting around identity also, right? It's like, no, a lot of people don't care that they're able to that Facebook has everything about them. Like, that's not something that people are demanding be changed because it's easy to just integrate. But those of us in this situation who are demanding it be changed, should have the option to make those changes.
I think
Yeah,
there's just a better way to do it, right?
yeah,
I mean, it's not like, look, Facebook probably did the best that they knew how with what they had at that
yeah,
that
yeah,
moment in time, which some may argue against that, I'm sure. But now there's a way to build in my opinion, truer identity of someone other than their personal information sold across platforms, listening to what they say, looking like seeing what they do, right? Like blockchain provides you with a transactional piece of data, which I like to call intent data, right? That marketers, I feel like, treasure, right? Like the most important piece of data you can have on someone is what they actually do, not what
yeah,
they clicked on, not what they scrolled through when they were doom scrolling late one night, right? Like it is, what are the actions you're taking? And that's what the blockchain records. Now, is that everything? I don't think so. But if you are able to leverage that data, which not a lot of people are right now, which is kind of funny because it's so transparent and everything, I think that builds a better identity of someone as a person. And then if they can find a way to integrate it into your work experience, I also think that builds a better idea of how you might help other brands, right? If you go there.
That's interesting. I never thought about it that way. I don't know. I mean, it is super valuable. What are people actually doing? Sure. Like money where the mouth is. But real